Join me right now on Kumite Radio is undefeated prospect Shinju Auclair. She'll be fighting at Rizin 14 on December 31st versus Justyna Haba. What's going on, Shinju?
Not a whole lot. What's up with you?
None much. Just, trying to deal with this cold weather out here.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with it pretty soon when you fly out here, right?
Yeah, I will. It's nice right now I'm in California, but it'll be crispy when I get out there.
Definitely. First thing I want to get into is the whole Rizin thing. When you meet people and they say, "Oh, you fight for Rizin," do you have to correct them?
I don't, because I feel like it's kind of like an asshole move, but I'll kind of like try to slyly be like, yeah, I'm fighting for Rizin this year, but I don't like straight up be like, no, that's not how you say it.
Recently, I think over the summer, I saw some incredible pictures you took, a photo shoot underwater. How did that all come together?
There's a photographer here in San Francisco. She does a lot of cancer patients, and she thinks that diving is really healing for cancer patients, and she does a lot of underwater photography with patients who've had breasts removed, body parts removed, and it's very therapeutic, and she's also a fight fan, so I was able to work with her, and that was awesome.
Nice. Let's go back to last year, almost a year now. You injured your elbow a month before the fight. How serious was the injury? Did you see a doctor before the fight? And how was it going into that fight?
So I dislocated my elbow and I tore my UCL in 2 locations. I didn't tell anybody. My coaches were the only one that knew. I did see a doctor and I got an MRI. And they didn't medically clear me to fight. So I had to go outside of my insurance plan and see a private doctor and hide my MRI reports from them to get a different doctor to clear me. It all came together in like the week before I flew out, and I was getting really nervous that somebody was going to out me. And, it was for sure, it was a rough camp. I couldn't grapple at all. I only had one arm the whole time. I had people telling me, almost damn near every day to not do the fight, but I had to do it.
Definitely. Well, it worked out for you, and you ended up doing a lot of grappling in that fight.
I did. The only game plan we really had was to try to keep it standing and avoid the grappling because of my arm. But I don't know. Anything goes in a fight, and it worked out, so it's okay.
Yeah, it all worked out, definitely. You got the surgery in January. What exactly did you get done, and how was the whole process?
So originally we were just going to stitch up the places where I tore inside of my arm and then drain all the fluid that was building up after the dislocation. But because I fought, I ended up tearing it in another location. So it was torn in multiple spots. We ended up having to remove the UCL, and I got a cadaver tendon or cadaver ligament placed in there. So yeah, I have somebody else's ligament in my arm, and I have 3 screws in there, and it's awesome. It's holding up really well.
The rehab, was it smooth sailing, or were there any hiccups along the way?
The only minor hiccups I had was I had a bit of swelling just because I was really eager to get back into training, and I did a little bit too much too fast. But once we took care of that swelling and got that drained again, it was smooth sailing.
You've dealt with injury in the past. Does that help? Did that help you, stay patient and calm throughout the downtime?
I was definitely not patient. I definitely wasn't calm. I was going stir crazy. It was rough because, I had taken the 2 fights, and I really thought this was going to be the year where I was going to, maybe fight 5 times this year was, my ultimate goal. So the timing was really rough because I felt like things were just kind of starting to figure things out. And I'm fortunate that Rizin was patient with me during the healing process, and they're allowing me to fight this year. So that was really the only thing that was kind of keeping me going, was them being so kind about the whole thing.
Outside the gym, did you do anything else, to keep busy throughout this time?
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of rehab. I was going to rehab all the time. There wasn't a lot I can do as far as grappling. I was able to do some striking work, so I was really focusing on strength and conditioning. And then once I finished rehab, I started rock climbing a lot, and that really helped with my forearm strength. A lot of the little muscles in our hands that we don't normally use. I've started using in rock climbing, so that's been a huge part of my rehab.
You've made a few trips throughout the year back to Japan. How was those trips, and did it help? Did it make you crazy?
Yeah, it was bittersweet because it was so close and it's right there and I could taste it. It was motivating, but at the same time I was like, damn it, I want to be in there. So it was a little bit of both. But I love being in Japan, and at the end of the day, it's an amazing country. I love being back there.
When you got back to throwing punches, when did this happen, and how awkward was it for you?
I didn't really realize I got the motion of throwing the punch back, but in sparring, I didn't even notice. I had somebody else point it out to me, and they're like, "You probably threw a total of 5 right hands in the past 3 rounds of sparring," and I didn't even notice. So there's maybe more of a mental block more than anything, but we just had to rep that over and over, and we're past that now.
Now you're returning to Japan on New Year's Eve, facing Justyna Haba. She's relatively unknown, and she's making her debut. What do you know about your opponent?
I probably know as much as you do. You probably actually know more than I do. I don't do a lot of film study. I don't do my own opponent selection. I kind of stay completely out of that. I don't get attached to my opponents at all. I really just kind of show up to fight. I was told that she's a K1 fighter, that she's military, I believe, Polish military, and has combat experience in the military scene. And yeah, I'm assuming Poland, they're, European kickboxing style is my assumption, but I know as much as you do.
Well, in your first 2 fights as a pro, you finished both fights on the mat with arm bars, and a lot of people expected you to strike all the time. Now I think this fight will allow you to do this since she is a K1 fighter or has a background in K1. Why do you believe you finished all your fights so far on the ground?
I have no idea. It was never a part of the game plan. I don't game plan. I don't do opponent study. I don't do any of that. I just kind of go out there, and that's just where it happened. It was never a plan. I never went in there with, this huge confidence about my grappling or anything like that. I thought if I was to win, it was going to be on my feet as well. So, but that's the crazy thing, and that's the fun thing about fighting, is that you really don't know, and you can even surprise yourself.
Do you think anything during training allows you to be so instinctive during your fights?
I think I focus so much on my own training. A lot of people get kind of into this mindset where they get very obsessive about their opponent, and they train so hard to beat that specific opponent, whereas I'm training with all different body types, all different types of sparring partners and grappling partners, that I get so many different looks, and I'm not focused on beating just one person. I just kind of train with whoever I can, and I think, and the other thing too is I have a lot of fun with it. I know a lot of people get really serious and get into this warrior kill zone, and I would love to be able to get into that because it looks cool and everyone's all serious backstage, but I can't get into that headspace, and for me I'm just kind of super hyper backstage, and I don't know, I feel out of place, but
well, you gotta be you, you can't be someone else, right?
Yeah, but I want to look cool. I want to look all scary walking down the ramp and stuff, but I don't know, I can't do it.
Oh, you want the Cro Cop feeling?
Oh yeah, I want to look like I don't give a shit about anything. I have no feelings. But I don't know. I can't help but walk out with a giant smile on my face. It's too exciting.
training camp, you just mentioned that, you know, you go in there and get all different looks. A lot of fighters, they're very selective, you know, on who they pick to train with. It seems like that has been beneficial for you to be able to go with anybody that comes and allows you to be instinctive, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I'm getting all kinds of different looks. Of course, you know, closer that I get to the fight, like I'm a little bit more selective just because of the risk of injury. But you know, especially outside of camp, I try to go with especially people that I know are gonna beat me, or the people that I know are gonna sub me, or the people that I know have a higher punch count than I do, or you gotta make sure you're ready to get really uncomfortable in situations. And I'm so used to going with people that are so above my skill set that I feel when it comes time to the fight, I've been beaten in every area in my training that I'm not gonna get flustered if I get beaten in a certain area in the fight and, like, you know, lose the willpower to keep moving forward, because I put myself in so many situations where I am very uncomfortable.
Fighting on the same card as you know, in the co-main event is Kanna Asakura and Ayaka Hamasaki for the Atomweight title. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this fight and maybe a prediction.
Man, that's so hard. Those are two of my girls. I love both of them. Ayaka was one of the first Rizin girls that I knew very well outside of Rizin, just because I watched her in Invicta for so long. And I've always looked up to her, but Kanna, I think she's special. I think she has the best takedown timing in the world, male or female, any size. The way she uses her takedowns is just it's a matter of finesse as opposed to, like, explosive power, and I love that. As far as the prediction goes, I'll have to give it to Kanna.
So you kind of see it as a changing of the guard in a way.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's just getting better and better with every single fight. I think the biggest problem with Ayaka is that she's gonna have, I think, a better response to the takedown as opposed to some of the other opponents that Kanna has already faced so far.
Okay, another hot topic is Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Tenshin.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's, you know, when you first heard this, did you believe it?
No, I didn't believe it. I messaged some of the Rizin stuff. Like, is this serious? And yeah, they confirmed it, and I was like, what the heck? And then, you know, what was it, like 2 or 3 days later, it fell through, and then it was back on, and I'm on the same emotional roller coaster as everybody else.
How does it feel to be able to be on a card like this? Especially Floyd Mayweather Jr., who any MMA fighter would never thought that they would be on a card with Floyd Mayweather. You know, is it believable right now to you?
No, not yet. I'm still not entirely sure if the fight's even gonna go through or not. Who even knows at this point? I have faith, though. I have faith that it's gonna happen and everything's gonna come together. But it seems like a little bit of a dicey situation right now. Yeah, no, I can't believe it. Absolutely not.
Justyna Haba, you're gonna, you know, clash with her that night. What do you think is going to go down? How do you think it's going to, you know, happen? Do you think it's going to be a stand-up war?
Yeah, like I said, I don't really go into it game planning. My understanding is that's where she's comfortable. I'm fine. You know, I've been training with one of the best female kickboxers out there for this camp. So I know whatever Justyna is going to bring is not even going to be a fraction of what my training partners have been able to give me. So it's going to be fun either way.
All right, December 31st, New Year's Eve, Saitama Super Arena, Rizin 14. Shinju Auclair will make her return. Thank you so much for your time and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. It's nice talking to you again.